Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I had an opportunity to go see the Supercat TWR Jaguar that was reimagined by the KyZA. I don't think it's here yet.
When he was here.
Incorporates a lot more curves and a lot more box flares. Box flares are a staple to the KyZA design language. What I did appreciate is the redesign of the flying buttress. Air now flows through this portal to create downforce and aero. It's an interesting design that I think is definitely polarizing. It is a design that, in my opinion, in pictures did not look good at all, but then when I saw it in person, it was a bit more captivating. It was interesting because I thought that the box flares were doing too much and it looked a little bit like it was trying to be like an E30 BMW or harken back to some rallies from the 1980s. It's something that I normally would not have considered to be a cool design, but it's a design that I respect and it looks even better in person. It almost looks like that E30 wagon that I saw at Car Park that is driving around New York City right now. This TWR Supercat originated as a Jaguar XJS V12. With a supercharged V12 making 660 horsepower, this car is promising tons of performance off the line. Tom Walkinshaw Racing, matched with KyZA Design, somehow delivers. In terms of delivery, only 88 examples are planned for production. It's an Alpine head unit. It feels a little bit out of place because it's like a modern thing thrown into a classic interior. So I'm not entirely convinced that it is the right placement for the radio in that position, or that it even needs a screen of sorts in a classic interior. I don't like the screen in the middle. I think that it was a bit much, but for modern convenience and Apple CarPlay and everything that you need in order to bring this car into the 21st century, I guess it's one of those things that you just have to compromise and accept and live with. But overall, the rest of this interior was perfect. The carbon-backed Recaro seats looked absolutely gorgeous in this application. Every surface outside of that carbon was covered in leather. I think it was a fantastic application of detail. I think that it was done extremely well, and I think that it's something that it'll make this car look really, really good. In addition to that, I like the selection of the steering wheel. It was not trying to do too much. From the driver's perspective, I think that it was doing everything necessary in order to be a driver's car. The positioning of the lever, which is why there is a 45-degree incline of the shift lever to make it more like a Carrera GT. It positions the placement of the hand to the steering wheel so it can be ultra fast shifts, almost like a 911R or a Carrera GT, or just keeping the shifter close to the steering wheel. I think that's why the 45-degree incline of the center console towards the dashboard is there. Ergonomically, very smart design. In addition to that, there's a screen rather than gauges. I think this was a missed opportunity to incorporate gauges into the design. I like having gauges because it just adds a level of instrumentation, clockwork, horology, all these different elements that I love about watches. I wish that was integrated into this car. I think that's a missed opportunity because they brought in a bunch of screens, and screens aren't necessarily beautiful over the course of time. I think the digitized platform may end up looking like trash in a few years. Otherwise, for the rest of this interior, the knobs, they looked really good. Everything looked like it was really expensive. And you could tell that this car, they spent thousands of hours making this thing perfect. So I think this was a really cool car. Otherwise, besides the interior, I think the interior was gorgeous. They deleted the rear seats. That is all compartments for luggage. And for me, I think that's a great opportunity because that just frees up a little bit more space. Magnus is a pretty tall guy. He's almost as tall as I am. So being that this is a British sports car, there's not a lot of room inside. So by deleting the rear seats, it actually adds a lot more space for the driver as well as the passenger. There is a side exit exhaust like that of a Dodge Viper. I think this is a really cool detail, and it is fit to the exterior of the car. Again, this was not a design that I particularly liked when I saw it in pictures on my phone, but when I saw it in person, it definitely stood out. Am I a fan of the original design a little bit better? Yes. Do I like this design better than the Type 00? Absolutely. This is the Jaguar that I dreamed about when I was a kid. There's a lot of Jaguar elements of being like, cat-like qualities. There's a lot of feline design language. Everything that I love about Jaguar is there. So that's why I like it. The box flares are a bit much for me, but considering that this was a project done by the KyZA, who's a brilliant designer, it's kind of cool, and I think that it'll grow on me, because the minute that I saw it in person, I knew that this looked different and that this was cool. And it's done by TWR, which is one of my favorite performance divisions of British racing. They did the TWR Range Rover, they did TWR Jaguar XJ220, they did a lot of important cars of the 1990s, and they took the Jaguar XJ220 to unprecedented levels of performance. So I think that's why this Jaguar is special. And the fact that they had their hand in it, and the fact that there is a TWR badge in the front that's replacing the leaping cat, it's kind of cool. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you later on the next one. Subscribe, like, and comment down below. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. See you soon, and stay driving some classic cars.